in the rearview mirror, and I think we've got Memorial Day coming in front of us. So it's a good time to be in Vero Beach. The flowers are blooming, and I talked to Joel. We had the birds out, so it's a good time of year. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. So, Curtis, if you would lead us, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I know the minutes from last month went out for everybody's review. Is there any discussion in regards to any amendments for the minutes for March?
No.
No.
Didn't see
Okay.
any. Didn't see any. Mr. Chairman, I move they be approved.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Very good. All right. Again, to everybody that's viewing, I would say come to our meetings. You're most welcome. Students, moms, parents, if you want to have children, I believe there's some form of credit for children to observe the actions of committees. You're welcome, and we'll be glad to share our our efforts to make sure our Memorial Island is the finest around. New business. I know Mr. Slesak is in the building, so I'm going to wait in regards to that. And I'm sure he'll pop in here in a minute. The next order of new business is the Keene Cenotaph. What I'd like to bring to the committee's attention, and I spoke to Mr. Dexter yesterday, and I think Mr. Falls is covering while he is on leave for his mom's 88th birthday. What we've found is the cenotaph on the island is the name is incorrect there. The effort to locate that was awarded after 5 years of work. That we found a person in town that brought it to our attention that the person that should be reflected there is Joel Preston King Jr. I spoke with the family in regards to that, and it was interesting in the fact that his dad had passed, and he went, Preston Jr. Went with his mom, which was Ann Galnick, to the dedication, and they realized at the dedication, unfortunately, that the name, which was Jack at the time, on the cenotaph should have, in fact, been something else. So she is passed, but it's her son's request and the family's request that we accurately reflect that. And in looking at the process to update the marker, I believe the total cost is in the neighborhood of $150. The foundry that's supported the other cenotaphs is from Pennsylvania, and they can accomplish that. Then the other question would be, what would be the timeliness on that? And Don felt that it was between maybe 6 weeks to 8 weeks total to get that corrected. So I would just entertain any discussion on that in regards to the cenotaph for Mr. King.
Yes, sir. It should be Joel Preston King Jr.
Mm-hmm.
No, Joel Preston King. It's Junior's his son. That's
I see.
With.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you said junior. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
And now what is on there now? What's the?
It says John.
And right now, at this time, it's John A. King,
I see.
Okay, because that at the time was the closest match to the information we had at the time, which was not the case.
Make a motion that we go ahead and purchase the cenotaph.
Okay.
Second.
So do we want to give an amount to set aside and make a motion for
Not to exceed
not more than $200 in order to accomplish that?
Yes.
Or just whatever it costs. I mean, we're going to do it, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it costs.
Whatever it costs.
Whatever,
I don't know. Yeah.
that
What's,
100,
what's the easiest way
that
to?
150 is an estimate, so we're going to do it.
Right.
So
Right, whatever the cost
just
is.
authorize Mr. Dexter to go ahead and.
I don't think the guy that does the stonework should know that we will pay whatever it is.
Okay, but okay.
Donald Sleep.
It shouldn't be more than 250. Would that?
Yeah, I
is
mean,
it
yeah,
just so that
easily.
we have.
Right. Okay.
Is that
Okay, so we rescind the motion not to exceed more than $250.
To update the cenotaph
Cenotaph by Mr. King.
for Mr. King.
For
So,
Mr. Keene.
okay.
And
Second.
then kind of under discussion, what's the proper disposal of the old one so that it doesn't wind up in somebody's den or whatever?
Correct.
And
Correct.
They would just take it and turn it, send it back to the foundry, which is what they did with the other ones, didn't they?
I thought he scrapped them.
Same thing they
They
did.
scrapped them.
Yeah.
Or did they, that's right.
They
Yeah.
disposed them as they had the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, and then Rita, I guess you'll draft that and I'll sign it to go to the city? Sure. Okay. Okay, Rob, can you talk to the request by Mr. Sample for a memorial, please?
Yep, the J. Sample Memorial for April 16th was signed off and approved by everyone. Everyone has checked the paperwork and all good, all in good standing.
Okay,
It's, everything I had was a very simple ceremony.
okay. And Mr. Sample, I off the top of my head, I think it was Air Force, it was, you recall?
Yeah, I think it was the Air Force.
I think it was, yeah, Air Force.
I think you're right.
Okay. Any questions in regard, and that is
16th.
16th, which
16th.
is,
Week from Saturday.
It's next week.
yeah, okay.
Next week is
So-
11, 13, 15.
Yep.
It's a week from Saturday.
Okay, 10
Week
days.
from Saturday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Colonel, may we hear about the Memorial Day coming up, please?
Good morning, committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Indian River Voters Council would like to present 2016 Memorial Day honors on Monday, the 30th of May, of the Veterans Memorial Island Sanctuary. The program will be very similar to that you've recognized in the past. The keynote speaker will be Lieutenant General William Welser, United States Air Force retired. General Welser is the head or the director of the Space Coast Honor Flight. And I've talked to him on the phone, exchanged emails with him, and we'll do more so in the future. We also want to honor the last Indian River County veteran deceased and the subject of the last cenotaph that you have placed on the island, Seaman Scott Owen. His wife, Janine Owen, is going to join us and say some words about how she was notified, etc., of the death. And I'm not sure exactly what she's going to say, but I'm going to find out before she says it. And, we also would like Albert Boy to join us on the stage and be introduced. And we also are going to honor the officers of the council this time. We'll put them on the stage and introduce them. That's about it. Can I answer any questions that you might have?
Sam, that was Jamie Owens, right? Jamie.
Jamie, thank you. Thank you, Curtis.
John, anything in regards to the ceremony? Any questions?
no.
We've got the band coming and the fife and drum coming and the color guards coming.
The Masters Academy Fife and Drum Corps, 2 Boy Scout troops, the who's a bagpiper,
Michael High.
and we'll have a new Army NCO presenting the wreath this time, Sergeant First Class Perez,
Oh, wow.
who commands the local recruiting station. We've had 2 meetings. We're going to have another one next week, and then one more before the ceremony. John just showed me the latest draft on the program. It's almost complete.
What day of the week is it, Sam? Is it a Monday or a Friday?
Monday.
When is it?
The rehearsal will be on Thursday, the 26th of May. I'm sorry, was that your question?
No, the date that's Memorial Day, is it a Monday?
Monday.
Monday the 30th,
Monday.
the last Monday in May. That's traditional.
Yeah. Okay.
Rob, at 9 o'clock in the morning, Rob's group says they're going to provide us a brand-new Garrison flag this year.
Wow. 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 Any logistical concerns, Rob, from the city?
No, all good. And we'll be meeting again with Sam, with Bob, in our group.
Okay. So for the general public that's watching, normal invitation, bring your lawn chairs, bring your dress comfortably, and bring shoes that can go across the grass, and a hat, and we'll have water provided, I'm sure.
All that stuff, all the above.
All the above. Okay. Well, good. Thanks. Appreciate it, Sam.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thanks, Sam.
All of the above.
All the above. Okay. Moving on to D, committee calendar. I need to let the council know and the public know that I will be running for city council, and that impacts on our business because if elected, then I would have to step down as president or chair for the committee. So as we do our a normal stewardship, we would want to look at the continuity of the committee. And I would just ask everybody in their time to look at that and make sure that we're making the right steps so that we have the leadership to continue the supervision of the island, because it's something that we all love and would not want to change one iota. So,
Okay.
All right, cool.
Cool, that's right.
Old business. Rob, can you speak to Petty Officer McTee's retirement ceremony?
Yes. At this time, the paperwork has been signed off for Buck McTee's retirement ceremony. We are trying to work on a sound system podium for that ceremony. We do not have stages. That was one of the things they had asked for. We have those both out for events. So, but we are trying to work all that out with the retirement ceremony.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
And my understanding with him is the reception that we'd kind of wanted to make sure was not associated with the island is going to be over at Vero Beach Veterans.
Right.
Okay, so that was a concern. Good.
Right.
What time of the day is that?
Yeah.
I don't have that information in front of
It
me.
was 10 to 2 that they had on the sheet.
There you go.
Doesn't it say on the application?
Yeah, it says-
Yeah,
Joel's
10 to
got
2.
it right there.
10 to 2.
10 to 2, okay.
So starting at 10 or?
Well, 10 is setup time.
Yeah.
So you're probably around lunchtime.
I would imagine probably start around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, it's funny, they got Southern Belle on here still. Haven't seen that one in a long time.
What's that?
It says Southern Belle.
Down here in the
Is that AT&T?
Oh, Southern Belle.
Or Bell South, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's not generic.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving on. Thanks, Rob. The sanctuary upkeep, Don updated me, and the items that we had discussed previous to this were the growth that was in and around the seats, the benches by the Lest We Forget Monument. That has all been cleaned and pressure washed, so that's all spick and span. And then we also mentioned the upkeep for the water fountain. He mentioned to me that had been taken care of. He said it's painted white. I don't know, is it painted white? And originally it was metallic gray. So he said if we felt that that was something that we wanted to modify going forward, it's something that we could bring to his attention.
Most water fountains are white anyway.
I can't make a. I've got to walk out there and be honest. And the third point was they've accomplished the photographs of the mangroves, and so the next point in the maintenance of that is they've got to chat with the folks in charge of the conduct of the cutback and of the mangroves, and then put together a, what do you call those things, a purchase order or whatever the equivalent would be to obtain services, because you got to hire a licensed mangrove specialist. So I told him I'd do it for much less expensively. And he said, yeah, but the risk associated with that is pretty substantial. Okay. All right. And Rob, the last point there on old business, Victims' Rights Coalition ceremony, any changes to that? That'll be in the evening time frame, I believe?
Yeah, it'll be the candlelight.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Moving to chairman's matters. Before we highlight the three veterans, I just want to, on behalf of all the committee, tell Rita that we love you in regards to the passing of your mom, and we're there for you. And if anything we can do, we will do. And we're there by you. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I believe Alma Lee did provide a card, and we had some daffodils for you. And if that brought some sunshine, then it succeeded. So
It did. It definitely did.
So. All right.
They were blooming all over up there.
They really are pretty.
Yeah. So. All right. Okay. The first veteran that was highlighted in March timeframe was Private Morris. And Joel, if you would.
Yeah, Private John Morris, United States Army, died in service December 12th, 1918. Private John Morris is a black veteran that was a World War I casualty. His name is listed among the enlisted men that died of disease. Volume 1 of Soldiers of the Great War records the men from the state of Alabama through Maryland. It was printed in 1920 and compiled from the official bulletin provided from Washington, D.C. records. Private Morris is listed among the men of Florida from Vero. Vero was only incorporated in 1919. The Morris family resided in Talladega, Alabama in 1900. His father was Thomas and his mom, Anna. The two children were Maggie, his younger sister, and him. He was born in 1894 in Alabama. He registered in Fort Pierce for the draft in June of 1917. He was 23 and worked for Indian River Farms. John was assigned to the 366th Infantry Regiment, 92nd Division. The regiment was an all-black unit. It served with distinction in 3 major World War I battles, including the Meuse-Argonne. He is buried in the St. Mihiel, I hope I pronounced that right, American Cemetery located in France. I couldn't even try that one. Private Morris is honored as part of the World War I Honor Roll. His cenotaph is found in Column A, Row 11, on Veterans Memorial Island Sanctuary. He was highlighted on WTTB Local News Magazine on March 8th, 2016.
Okay. Curtis?
Yep. Lieutenant Fred E. Woodward, U.S. Army, died in service August 18th, 1918. Lieutenant Fred Evan Woodward died of an accident in World War I. His name is found in the Soldiers of the Great War. The 3-volume series records the sacrifice of the turn of the century generation, and he and his brother to Vero. Claude was 30, married with 2 kids. Fred was 25, still single, when they registered for the draft on June 5th, 1917. The exact date and location of his death has yet to be determined with confidence. The parents were George M. Woodward and Minnie E. Woodward of Rockford, Illinois. The 1910 census lists the Woodward family. Fred was born February 1st, 1892 in Iowa. His draft card indicates he was a short man with dark hair and gray eyes. His death would have occurred by the end of the war, which concluded in 1918. He died at the age of 26. His cenotaph is found in column A, row 9. He was highlighted on March 13th. Further work is to be done to find more of his story.
The discovery of these two men in the research for the veterans' histories is something that kind of brings to home the fact that the last thing a soldier or airman or Marine wants is to be lost in battle and never recorded. Everybody knows about dog tags and identification of that. During the Civil War, before the dog tags, they'd take scraps of paper and they'd stuff it in their shoe in different parts. So if they were injured or casualty, that their family would know about it. As you look back in the history of our country, and you think about Vero Beach, it's striking that we had men from Iowa and Illinois that came here that made the town, the original families. And some of those original families, when the alarm came, they went down to Fort Pierce, signed on the draft registration, and then, whether you're 23 or 19, all of a sudden you're across the pond and you're fighting for your life. And if you visit Japan or you visit other places in the world and you come across an American cemetery, one of those men could well be from Indian River County, whether it's Wabasso or Oslo or Vero. So it's something that makes you thankful for what you have. John, if you do Captain King?
Yes, sir. Captain Joel Preston King.
Army Air Force?
Army Air Force, I should recognize that. My dad was an Army Air Corps. Died October 28th, 1947. Joel Preston King was born April 22nd, 1912 in Osceola, Florida. His parents were Alexander Myra Keene and Sally Tyson. He grew up in St. Cloud. Joel graduated from the Architecture School of the University of Florida in 1939. He taught school in Clewiston. In 1941, he married Ann Golnick of Vero Beach. They had 2 children, Joel Jr. and Barbara. Joel entered the Army in February 10th, 1942. He would attend flight training and be based in England during World War II. He was assigned to the 502nd Transport Wing. On October 19, 1945, he was honorably discharged. In September 1951, his Crestlawn Cemetery plot would be honored with a veteran memorial headstone. The cenotaph titled John A. King, located in column E, row 10, is an era and is, in fact, Joel Preston King. Confirmation was made with the Keene family and his son, Joel P. King, Jr. He was highlighted on the WTTB local news magazine on March 29th, 2016. And this is the cenotaph that we just corrected, or will be correcting soon, that we discussed earlier.
This makes me think of the occasion when I was on Memorial Island for one of our Memorial Day or Veterans Day ceremonies, and a young man came up to me and he said, I was 3 years old when my dad was killed in Vietnam in an ambush, and I have letters from my mother about the accounts before his death. Well, Joel Jr., when his dad came, returned from England and flying, was 2 years old. And he said his father related that there were many, many crews that did not return, that were aboard the bombers that left out of England, and also the transports. And the actual number of deaths, I think, if you look at the exact figures for the air crews, exceeded any other element in service. It's like 25%. So you could imagine being a 25-year-old standing on an airfield, realizing when the crews came back, you would be, 1 in 4 wouldn't be there for a muster call the next day. So I'm sure that weighed heavily on him. The unit, the 502nd Transport Wing, Curtis may recognize the 502nd designation. The 502nd is a legendary Army outfit. It's a part of the 101st Airborne, and went in, and the transports were the guys that brought the airborne soldiers that dropped in on France. And so, they had to come in and set formation, and were sitting ducks. So it was harrowing experience to be one of those pilots, and he was a young man that graduated from Florida, was a school teacher, and the military said, "Come serve," and he learned how to fly and deployed to England, and was doing it in the middle of the battle that saved England and saved America and our allies. So that's,
A lot of history on that island, huh?
without a doubt. From the board members, committee members, anything? Was good? And
I just have one. I had the honor of attending Mr. Moulton's funeral.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And as nice as the funeral could be, it was very, very nice. His family was very happy that we were there, and on behalf of Memorial Island and on behalf of the Veterans Council. So she got a chance to speak to his sons and to his grandson, and what a history he had.
Yeah, he was
without a doubt.
He was the keynote
Also,
speaker.
one thing I did want to say, we are looking, for the people that are out there on TV, we're looking for a part-time driver to fill a position. It's going to be about 25 to 30 hours a week. If you're interested, please go up to the Veterans Service Officer, put your application in. You have to have a chauffeur's CDL and a passenger endorsement. That's all for me.
Just on Richard Moulton, it just made me remember when we dedicated the POWMIA monument on the island. He was our keynote speaker and was a wonderful speaker, and of course a great gentleman.
Yeah.
And had an interesting story of his capture and escape. I guess a few times, if I remember correctly.
It was.
I even looked his book up. It's on Amazon. I kind of glanced over it, went over some of it. I'm gonna pick it up and take a look at it myself and read it. So I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff in there.
If you read the accounts of these air crews, oh my gosh! I mean, it's one thing to be in an armor element and have a mechanical malfunction, but when you're at 20,000 feet and you have an engine go out and you become the slow bird on the formation, and you got the Luftwaffe that's coming up to prey on the sick, lame, and lazy. That's what exactly happened to Mr. Moulton, and he said that what was good though was when his bomber was shot down and he went into the airfield. As they were going down, the Luftwaffe, the Messerschmitt that shot him down was going down too. So it was irony where he made it out, but the fighter that took him down didn't make it out. So anyway, but ma'am, anything?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have our next meeting on May 4th. Mm-hmm. It'll be here. Again, everybody's invited. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. We're
Just like
complete.